Welcome back to the Junkman's Adventures in this auto vlog. And today we're going to talk about having a kind of an emergency roadside kit. And you're going to see some tools here, and that doesn't mean this video is not for you out there that have no mechanical ability, who have never turned a screwdriver. And I'm going to explain why you should have all this, even if you're not mechanically inclined whatsoever. I'm going to explain why you should have some of this stuff in your car as we go. Anyhow, I'm not going to talk about things like having a blanket, an emergency flashlight, and road flares, and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to assume you kind of already have that stuff. This is getting into more stuff that you might not think about, but it's going to be a real saver on the road anywhere, especially if you're on a trip in a rural area or in no man's land. I'll explain more about that later. Obviously, like a first aid kit and stuff that has some caution stuff you ought to have. I'm going to assume you have that. A 12-volt air compressor, like a good one. This is one I like. It's all metal and everything, and has a little bit of cooling fins for the pump, so it has a pretty decent duty cycle. So, and then I also like that it has a quick connector, so I would look for one like that. But you know what? Having anything is better than nothing with this. Obviously, a tire gauge, that should always be in any car. It's not really an emergency thing. This is a preventative maintenance. I like this style, but the pencil style works too. A quart of oil that's of the proper viscosity and specification for the engine. Just 1 quart is generally enough. So if you're at a gas station somewhere and you notice it's low, this can get you to where you need to go, so then you can get it diagnosed why you're severely a quart low. So now I'm going to get into tools. And this is where it might get kind of scary for people who don't normally use tools, but I'm going to break it down for you. First things first is like a blow mold case. Now, I am not going to recommend this. I really don't like these things, and I'll tell you why. However, having some tools is better than having no tools. But really why I don't like these is because, I'll open it up here. For one thing, the tools don't come out of the case very easily, and usually this is a typical case, but usually most of the tools in here are not tools that you're ever going to need for a roadside repair. They're nice for a home kit, maybe, for general use, but it's lacking a lot of things for that fix alongside the road. However, any tool, having some tools is better than no tools at all. And reason why I say that is, at least if you had something like this, Good Samaritan like me, or a tow truck driver, or a local mechanic or something that's along the side of the road that might help you, he might not have the tool, but you might have it in here. And that's where a lot of this is going to come from, is having specific tools that are unique to your vehicle. Just like this, a star wrench. Now, every vehicle comes with the lug wrench. It also doubles usually as how you jack the car up to. They're pretty terrible and sometimes don't work the greatest. Get yourself one of these, and then with a zip tie or something, mark which one it is on here. But you can always have a lot of lever. And you can see I've even customized this one because this one is for one of my pickups, and I wanted a deep well socket because it's got those long lug nuts. So put this in, because it'll just make, when you have to change that flat tire, and even if you're not going to do it, this makes it easier for the person the Good Samaritan that might stop and help you. Another thing is have a couple of rubber straps, some decent ones. You can get these at like truck stops and gas stations and stuff. Great for just whatever, tying things down, tying the hatch, the trunk down. Maybe you hit something and you need to tie the bumper up. Having that along is something good. Same with the tow strap. Now this is more of an extreme case, but like I said, you get stuck or whatever, a Good Samaritan might stop, but he might not have a way to get you out. Well, if you have a recovery strap, and that can help get you out of a jam with somebody. Now let's get on to more tools that I think, the bare minimum of tools that are going to be the most effective in an emergency roadside situation where the car just quits on you. Now, depending on your car type, but a range of open end and box end wrenches. These happen to be metric, but some American sizes, depending on your car. A lot of things are metric these days, but the most common ones you're going to use in metric are going to be your 8, 10, 12, and 14 for most roadside repairs. That's why I don't like these, because they generally are missing one or many of the sizes that are going to be most common on something that, again, a Good Samaritan might be able to help you with. So buying a set of these, or buying the individual wrenches, and you can even pare this kit down to the bare necessities if you needed to. Another thing is in screwdrivers. Really, you only need about 2, maybe 3, but really 2. Number 2 Phillips and then the number 1 Phillips in there, because most fasteners are going to be a Phillips head that you might need to get to. That brings me to these, like these bit driver things. Okay, again, better than nothing, but I really don't like these things because chances are these are the only 2 you're ever going to truly need in an emergency situation. But these are okay as well. The problem is you lose the bits, they fall out. Like this one has kind of a ratcheting mechanism. It makes the body of the tool a little bit more inaccessible for certain areas, but again, better than nothing. So if you want to expand a little bit, also these can work with some Torx bits and things, but usually those are trim panels and stuff like that. Again, your car may be a little bit different, so maybe you want to have the Torx bits. 2 different kinds of pliers: a normal, regular slip joint pliers, and like I said, these don't have to be super high quality because they're just an emergency, and a pair of needle nose pliers. Good for getting at different things. And then one of the most important ones that I think, because this is one of the most common on the side of the road, roadside repair, or in a parking lot, is the tools to unhook the battery and get it out of the car. Now, for my new car that I have, it's under the floorboard, under a panel in the floor, and it requires a number 20 Torx. So I bought a number 20 Torx handle to get the 1 fastener to even get to the battery. Then after that, this happens to be 5/16, some of these are 8mm, whatever. It's a ratcheting wrench to get the terminals off, the little terminal bolts. Now, having different vehicles, some of them are 1/2 inch, some of them are 9/16. It's typical top post. This would be for more like a side post type of application. But whatever it takes to get the battery out, have at least those tools, because batteries die, and they die suddenly on a lot of people, and Good Samaritan might be able to help you out. Along the same side, electrical things. Have some fuses, a good assortment of fuses, and the little puller tool. Now, a lot of cars in the fuse box, they have the tool, but if you buy a little kit kind of like this, these are very inexpensive. It usually comes with the tool as well, and then different size fuses. Now, you'll want to go to your owner's manual or pull the fuse box cover and at least see which kind. These are the little blade style. If it uses the older style round fuses, buy whichever ones, and buy an assortment. Your most common ones you're going to be replacing probably are a 10 and a 15 amp fuse, maybe the 20s. You'll almost never have to replace the 30s unless you really screwed something up. So, good thing to have in there. Same along the sides of electrical. Now, probably not going to leave you on the side of the road, but probably a good thing to get you out of a fix-it ticket is have an extra 1157 or whatever appropriate bulb for your car and stuff. Now, with more modern LEDs, that's less of a thing anymore, but if it's an old filament type, have at least 1 or 2 extra bulbs. They come in packs of 2. Put that in your kit as well. Now, going on to keeping the theme of electrical, because that's some of the things that go wrong, is this little guy here. And this is just an example of one. They come in all different shapes and sizes, but it's a relay. And these are common for starting fuel pump relays, air conditioner, well, the horn, and a couple other things under there, but your most important things are that starter and the fuel pump. The car cannot run without the fuel pump. Fuel pump generally runs off of a relay. These fail over time. Some people can go their whole lives without that happening, and whatever. These are inexpensive again, and they're almost all the same, or there might be two different kinds you have in your fuse box. I suggest going to a site like Rock Auto. Again, if you're not mechanically inclined, but look up your car and then just type in relay, and with your owner's manual has the wiring diagram for the fuse box, and it'll tell you which relay, and you can click on and see what all models it fits, and if it is common for, like I said, the starting, the fuel pump, AC compressor. That'd be important, like when it's summertime and you're middle of Arizona and you got two screaming kids in the back of the car. This little thing can keep your air conditioner from working, potentially. So, these are so cheap, throw them in your emergency kit. Buy a couple of them, but really you only need one, because only one's generally going to fail at a time. And you know what? You can swap that AC one out and put it in the fuel pump one in a pinch if you have to, and you just don't have AC until you get this replaced. Along that same line is just a couple. You don't need a whole assortment, but a couple of hose clamps. Again, this is for Good Samaritan comes by if you're not inclined, but fix a hose, something that popped off, or clamp something down. Having a couple of these will help you get out of a jam. Same with zip ties. Operates sort of the same way. Temporary fix, but saved me a lot as I've been going down the road. Okay, now let's get to some other things here that most people might not even think of, but along the same lines of the little relay is for example, like ignition parts and things, depending on your vehicle, of course, or different sensors that are kind of known to be go bad, or if you got a really old vehicle, like this is a throttle position sensor, that can keep you off the road. And I'm going to date myself here, but something like this is an ignition module for a Ford, a distributor type, but look up your car. If it has some kind of ignition module, and a lot of coil-on plug cars, or that have distributorless engines, which are most engines these days, maybe buy an extra ignition coil. They're usually, and you can just buy the cheapy one, because like I said, it's just got to get you where you're going, or get you down the road. Maybe have that. Again, a Good Samaritan might be able to replace that for you, or local shop. If you're driving something like a Kia or something and you're out in a rural area, most parts houses are not going to have parts for a Kia. So if you have something in your trunk, one of these common deals, a local mechanic can probably install that for you and get you on the road. Save you maybe an overnight stay at a motel, so it saves you money by having that in there. Same with that is a belt, and actually you'll see coming up, I'm going to just replace the accessory belt no matter what age it is, and I'm going to keep the old one as, like I said, my spare backup. This is an old one off of one of my other cars, and I keep it in there even though I have a brand new one on there. So if it breaks, because again, this can ruin an engine when that breaks. Same thing here. This is the tensioner. This is an old tensioner. This happens to be off my pickup, but I keep it in there. And the bearing does have a little bit of wear in it, but you know what? It'd go another few hundred miles, or probably a couple thousands, because it's not wobbling and not squeaking. However, when I bought the pickup, I replaced this, but kept the old one. And if you have an idler pulley, it'd be good to keep that if it's still in good enough shape. Again, the one that's on the car goes or fails, somebody, Good Samaritan, local mechanic, can install this old one to get you out of a pinch. However, with modern serpentine systems, and most cars are this way, to even replace the belt, you need to be able to turn this spring. Well, there's usually a either wrench on here, or there's a square. It'd be good to buy these. It's inexpensive at most tool stores, and it's the belt, serpentine belt installation tool that lets you get some leverage to lever this tensioner and then get the belt off. And I buy one for every car, and like I said, this one goes specifically for one car because you got to reach down in there. Makes it super easy to replace that belt. I'm going to make it easy to replace that belt on the side of the road. Again, like I said, 100 degrees. Plus, in Arizona, you'll be glad you have this, this, and this. And you might have just saved yourself ruining an engine. Anyhow, that's about all I wanted to go over in this auto vlog. You know, post down in the comments some of your tips and tricks and things you carry. I know I didn't cover every single possible scenario. This is just to give you some ideas of some other things other than the common roadside emergency kit and probably air pump that most everybody knows. And again, even if you're not mechanically inclined, you've never operated a screwdriver, I think you should have all this in there, because chances are there's a good Samaritan that'll come by like me, stop, and if you have the tools and a spare part, they can put it on right there for you, and you just saved yourself a lot of money with a tow bill and potentially, if you're out of town, a motel or hotel stay to get your car fixed and get yourself down the road. So until next time, like this video, share it around to your friends, tell somebody that you think this would be helpful to, this knowledge. And check out my website, got tons of information over there. Like the Facebook page, I'm over on Instagram. And thanks for watching.